A few hours later, the campus was peaceful again. When the bus arrived, Ash had stayed behind and hid himself. The reason was because many parents came to welcome their children back from their trip. Even if many of the students stayed on the campus, there are still many who doesn't need to since their families lived in the cities around the academy. So he had to wait because his presence was a secret. He waited until Professor Oak gave him the all clear. Once he had it, he went down to the bus and saw Professor Oak and another woman with him. Is everything all right, sir? Asked the young guardian. Yes, my boy, quite all right. May I present to you Professor Araya Juniper? She will be your history teacher. Says the old man, pointing to the woman beside him. Pleased to meet you, Professor Juniper. I just hope that I won't be a burden to you. Says the boy. I'm sure you won't be. It's a pleasure to meet you too, Sir Ashton. I'd be honored to teach you everything I know. Says the lady. Please, just call me Ash. We don't want to make things easier for the criminal organizations to find me. After all, I'm supposed to be here secretly. Quite right, my boy. Says Professor Oak. We will show you to your room right now. It's a little late, so we arranged a late supper in your room with some clothes for the night and tomorrow morning. I will ask my grandson and his friends to show you around tomorrow so you will know where everything is. As for your Pokemon, I suggest that you leave Ponyta with me. I will take her to the stables. You can keep Pikachu and Lucario with you. Gary will show you where the stables are tomorrow. Ash nodded and gave Ponyta's Pokeball to the old professor before following them. Night was falling around them, but there were still enough light for Ash to look around. The campus was welcoming and huge. The young boy couldn't wait to visit it the next day. At the end of the road stood 3 enormous buildings. The one in the center was where the classes took place. Professor Juniper told him then that the classes goes from Monday to Friday. The majority of the students takes the Saturday and Sunday to explore the forest and the city near the school. Or, to do their homeworks. As for the classes, they start at 8 in the morning and finish at 4 in the afternoon. Of course, they have 1 hour to eat at 12 and various breaks during the day. No one expect their students to work 8 hours without eating or resting. The library was also there. So, if he needs books to finish his homeworks, he was welcome to use it. Again, Gary will show him how the library works the next day. The 2 other buildings were the dormitories. The one on the right was for the girls and no boys were allowed there after 9 during the week and 11 on the weekend. These hours were also the curfew. If you need to be out after those hours, you'll need a professor's permission. The professors then take Ash to the building on the left, the boys' dormitory. Again, the same restrictions apply there. His room was on the 4th floor. Professor Juniper left them in front of the building. She had to prepare a lesson plan for Ash. For that, she had to speak to the other professors. She also told Ash not to worry. If there's something he doesn't understand, he should not hesitate to ask for help. She and the other professors will be glad to help him adjust. She then bid them good night and left. Ash then follows the old professor inside. The building's hall was welcoming and the walls were a soft blue color. For the moment, the hall was deserted. The students who were with him in the bus were resting and the others were probably doing their homeworks. The professor guided him to the elevator and press a button. Ash was looking, curious. He jumped a little when the doors suddenly opened. When the old man invited him inside, he was a little uncertain. Is it safe, sir? Ash asked, hesitant. Totally safe, my boy. No need to worry. The dormitories have stairs too, but my poor back can't take them. Damn lumbago. That's the burden of old age, my boy. If you're not comfortable with the elevator, you can take the stairs next time. Ash nodded before entering. He was a little nervous when the doors closed and the cabin start moving. Definitely, this elevator thingy was not his favorite. He was relieved when the doors opened again and he was able to get out. He then looked around. The 4th floor was a long corridor with many doors on each side. The professor explained then that these doors were rooms for the students. Each floor also have a student prefect who makes sure everything was in order. On the 4th floor, the student prefect was Gary, his grandson. Once they arrived to his room, they saw Gary outside, waiting for them. Gary, what are you doing here this late? Asked the professor. Hey Gramps. Just making sure that the room was ready. Gary said. He then turned to Ash. There is a little lunch for you and your Pokemon inside. I also take the liberty to ask around for clothes. Don't worry, your secret is safe. I just tell the others that we have a new student but that the airport had lost his luggage. So, this is the key to your room. Don't lose it. Thank you, Gary. I suppose that you could show Ash around tomorrow. Says Oak. Sure Gramps. Oh, I also plug my old computer in the room. I just received a new one at the beginning of the year but my old one still worked pretty well. Says Gary while giving Ash his key. Ash nodded thankfully to Gary even if he had no idea what the word airport meant. He then entered his room. The room seems pretty comfortable even if it was small. The bed was in a corner with light blue sheets and a navy blue comforter. The walls were a light cream color. Besides the bed was a desk with the computer on it. The desk was large with enough space to write and eat on it. There was already 2 plates with food for him and his Pokemon and a steaming cup. On the opposite wall, there was a drawer for his clothes and a little place to wash his face and teeth. A toothbrush was there. The drawer was empty for now but the professor told him that the Pokemon League will send money for his upkeep. That revelation shocked the young man. I don't want to be a burden. How can I repay them? Ash said. You don't have to, my boy. The champion, Lance, have sworn to protect you. That money will serve to protect you by allowing you to learn how to live in this time period. So you won't be a target for the criminal organizations. Says the old professor. Organizations. As in, more than one. Team Rocket is not the only one. Ask Ash worriedly. Unfortunately no. Team Rocket is leading in Kanto and Johto. Hoenn have 2 organizations, Team Aqua and Team Magma. Since these 2 are in war against each other, Hoenn have a little respite. Sinnoh have Team Galactic. Unova have Team Plasma and Kalos, Team Flare. I think there is even a Team Skull in Alola. Says Gary. Ash was shocked. And Arceus want him to get rid of all of them. How was he supposed to do that? With only 3 Pokemon. And, Team Rocket already know about him. How much time does he have before the other criminal groups found out? With his luck, not much. He was deep in thought on his chair when Gary spoke again. Hey, calm down. Don't worry. For now, even Team Rocket doesn't know where you are. You're safe here. When we will be finished with you, they won't recognize you, Ashy boy. Ash was about to speak again when something stuck. Ashy boy. What a ridiculous nickname. Well, if he take it that way. They can both play this game. Ashy boy. Is that the best you could do, Gare Bear? Ash said while smirking. Well, I can't call you Sir Ashton. It will be a dead giveaway and. Hey, I'm the great Gary Oak. I don't need a stupid nickname, says the boy, pouting. Ash laughed at that. He seemed to have hit a point right at home. The old professor sigh and shake his head at his grandson antics. He then said that it was enough and that Ash need to rest. He then reassure Ash that no criminals will find him here, explain the clothes on Ash's bed and ask his grandson to return in the morning to show Ash around and explain how the campus work. The other boy nod before saying good night and leave them. The old man then bid Ash good night before leaving himself. Ash then rise from his chair and put his staff in the drawer. He then release Pikachu and Lucario from their Pokeballs and they start to eat the light lunch. I have some good news and some bad news you too. Ash said, gaining the attention of both Pokemon. What news, Master? Asked Lucario. Don't call me Master, Lucario. I'm your friend not your master. It seems that Arceus's mission will be more complicated than anticipated, says Ash. How so? Asked the Jackal Pokemon. Because they have criminal organizations in all of the regions. Hoenn even have 2. And that new region that I never heard about, Alola. Have you ever heard about this place, Lucario? No, never heard of it. Must be a new place. We were asleep for almost 800 years. Many discoveries must have been made during that time. As for our mission, Mew never told us that it will be easy. We're in for a wild ride, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm afraid so. At least, the good news is that these criminals doesn't know we're here. But I'm afraid that we won't be returning in our time period anytime soon. If ever. I suppose it's a good thing the Pokemon League find us first. I shudder to think what would have happened to us if these criminals find us first. We are far from ready to face them. Ash then yawned tiredly. Lucario and Pikachu told him to finish his lunch and to go to sleep. There were a time and place to talk about these subjects, and even if the place was right, the time was not. Ash nodded and prepared himself for bed. The night wear was more comfortable than he thought. He put his other clothes in the closet and climbed in the bed. It was really soft and warm. He didn't take long for him to fall asleep. Pikachu climbed on the bed too and put himself near Ash's head. After Lucario turned off the light, he seated himself on the floor in a meditative position and fall asleep too soon after. Pokemon G-Men HQ. While Ash was en route to the academy, Lance has returned to the G-Men headquarters for an important mission. He had to debrief his men for the protection of the academy and contact the Pokemon Rangers to make sure that they stayed alert in case the criminal teams tried to attack the academy. He also had to discuss a budget for Ash's upkeep. That money would not be necessary once the boy start his training career, since each victory in battle also brought some money for the victor. And he had no illusion that Ash would be a terrific battler. He was a champion for long enough to spot talent when he see it, and Ash have it. He wouldn't be Arceus's champion if he didn't know his way on a battlefield. At least, let's hope so. He was in his office and was waiting for a call from the president of the league, Mr. Goodshow. He had already sent his report and was now waiting the call. While waiting, he thought about Ash. The boy would need more Pokemon for his mission. He had no doubt that Pikachu, Lucario and Ponyta were strong, but they were only 3. And he knew that some of the Team Rocket admins have their Pokemon on an elite level. Even with these 3, Ash was far from ready to fight them. After a time, Lance decided that he will send one of the eggs under his watch to the boy. A dragon type could boost his team a little. He was about to decide which egg when his videophone announced a call. He answered promptly. It was the president of the Pokemon League, Charles Goodshow. The president was a little rotund man but with a lot of presence. Considered to be one of the best president until now, he was a man of action and not easily intimidated by the crime syndicates. In fact, it was the opposite. The crime syndicates were intimidated by him. Good evening, Lance. I heard that your last trip was full of surprises, says the little man. Good evening, Mr. Goodshow. It is the least I could say about it. The bad news is that Team Rocket now know about the boy and have already tried to kidnap him. With your permission, I will send some money forward to ensure his protection and upkeep, says the champion. By all means, do it. It's our duty to protect the last Aura Guardian. Arceus knows how much we fail with Riley Gen. How is he? Still in a coma. His Pokemon doesn't leave his bedside. The doctors don't know when and if he will wakes. Or in what state his mind will be. And we will not know what they did to him until he wakes. And the boy, how is he? Do you think he could help us with Riley? Maybe, but I want to wait for him to find his marks here before asking him some help. As for the boy's character, he is a good boy with plenty of determination. He cares deeply for his friends and his Pokemon. I have seen a little of his aura powers and they were impressive. I think Ash could be a great help for the league. That's good to know. But we must not lose the sight that he still is a young boy and not abuse his help. We will leave him alone for now. Hiding him at the academy was a good idea but also a risky move. We must stay ready to evacuate him at the first sign of danger. I do not want to put the other students at risk too. I already debriefed my men for the protection of the school and I spoke with the Chief Ranger about his help. I did not tell them about Ash. I just mentioned that I wouldn't put it past the criminal organizations to recruit at the school. A good plan. It is not too far from the truth without revealing too much. Good thinking, Lance. As for the boy's upkeep, do you think that $1 million Poke dollars should be enough? More than enough for his needs. He doesn't seem to have an extravagant lifestyle. I think he is used to more modest needs. I'm sure that he won't abuse it. Good. See to it. See if the Elite Four would help you. If what your report says is true, the boy will need help. The task Arceus put on this boy's shoulders is not an easy one. I know. I'm already thinking to send him one of the Pokemon eggs under my watch. I will ask the others to do the same. Good idea. Now, it's late and we both had a tiring day. I need my beauty sleep. Keep me informed about the boy's progress, Lance. Good night. Will do. Good night, Mr. Goodshow. Lance stopped the call and stretched in his seat. He was so tired. He then looked at the report pile on the corner of his desk. He sighed and rise to go to bed. These reports could wait the next morning. The next day. The next day rise dark and gloomy. Dark clouds covered the sky and thunder was rumbling on the horizon. On the fourth floor of the boys' dorms, Ash was still sound asleep. In the corner of the room, Lucario was slowly waking up. He then rise up and stretch. The room was quiet except for the thunder, but the storm was still pretty far from their position. Lucario then used his aura to feel around. The Pokemon in the nearby forest were eagerly searching for a place to take cover. That fact told him that the coming storm would be a strong one. If Ash want to visit the school, he should do it fast. He approached the boy and slightly shake him awake. Wake up, master. The day have rise. Ash groaned a little and start moving slowly. He opened his eyes and yawned. He then sit on his bed and stretched too. Ash look around and sigh. So many things happened in so little time that his mind had difficulty just adjusting to his new situation. What time is it, Lucario? And, how many times did I tell you not to call me master? I am your friend, not your master. By the little black contraption on the desk, I would say it is 8h30 in the morning. And for the second question, about 565 times, master. 566 now. Very funny, said Ash, rising up. The movement waked Pikachu up and the little mouse stretched and yawned before jumping on the desk while Ash opened the curtains. The boy then saw the black clouds. He then started washing his face and put his new clothes on. The pants were gray and the jacket was mostly blue with white lines on it, Ash's Kalo's clothes. His shoes were red and white sneakers. He was tying them when a knock was heard at the door. It was Gary. Lucario let him in. Good morning, Ashy boy. Did you sleep well? Hello, Gare Bear. Yes, I did. I suppose you're here for the visit. Yeah, said the boy, frowning before the nickname. Well, first, we'll go eat our breakfast at the refectory. It's in the middle building. Then I will guide you on the ground first. Since the weather will soon turn for the worse, I prefer to show you the stable and the battlefields outside first. Battlefights. Yeah, Pokemon battles. It is more a sport than an actual battle. Killing your adversary's Pokemon is highly frowned upon these days. The fight ends when one of the Pokemon fell unconscious. It's more like a friendly battle. It's also a great way to resolve conflict without killing someone. While speaking, Gary was guiding Ash through the corridors and the building. Ash was a little less nervous about the elevator this morning. His nervosity was probably because he was tired the day before. That is a type of battle that I totally agree on. I hate killing Pokemon, and resolving conflict without resorting to war is a very good idea in my book. The two boys were now outside and the weather was very hot and humid. There was also a slight zing of electricity in the air. Gary decided then to put the visit to the next day. While walking to the middle building, he pointed to other building behind the three main ones. The stable where his grandpa has brought Ash's Ponyta. The greenhouse is where they learns about the different berries and how to make potions and poffins for the Pokemon. The last building that he pointed was the Pokemon Center, hospital for the sick and injured Pokemon or students. Ash was walking beside him with Pikachu on his left shoulder and Lucario following behind him. All was well until Ash felt something in the forest. He then stopped walking and used his aura to scan the forest. Lucario had stopped too and did the same. It wasn't long before the duo had found their target. There was an injured Pokemon near and his aura was crying for help. Ash warned Gary about the fact and the two boys then run to the forest. The wind became stronger and the storm was getting closer. Lucario ran in front of the two boys. Just in case of a bad encounter. The wind picked it up and it starts raining. They finally arrive in a small clearing. On a tree thump sat a little orange lizard Pokemon in a really bad shape. It was holding a large leaf like an umbrella to protect itself from the rain. Unfortunately, it was also attacked by a bunch of Rattatas who saw there an easy prey. Ash then sent Pikachu against them. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt on the Rattatas now. The little mouse muster his strength and send the attackers packing. Ash then approached the little Charmander. The poor thing seems at the end of its rope. The boy took off his coat and give it to Gary. We must take him to this Pokemon Center you were showing me earlier. He won't survive a storm like this. I will take him in my arms. Use my coat to cover his tail flame. It must not go off or he will die. Ash took Charmander in his arms. Pikachu and Lucario. Cover us in case of an attack. The storm makes the Pokemon around us nervous. The group then start running. Just before they go, Ash saw the remains of a Pokeball. It was broken in pieces. The human prints around it show that it was intentionally broken. It was sad that the rain will erase everything. They could have told the headmaster about this but with no proof, the only thing they could now do was to make sure that Charmander received medical care fast. Even with the speed they were going, they were soon soaked to the bones. They crossed the door of the Pokemon Center in a mad sprint, surprising the students and the staff there. Gary was the first to call for help. Nurse Joy, please help. The pretty nurse came fast and was horrified when she spotted the little Pokemon who was shivering against Ash's chest. She rapidly summoned a stretcher for a fire type and brought the poor thing in surgery. An aide came to the boys and guided them to the hot showers and dry clothes so the boys won't catch their deaths. The headmaster was also summoned with a possible case of Pokemon abuse. After their showers, Ash and Gary were sit in the lobby waiting for news. Professor Oak appears some time later and come closer to the boys. What happens here, young men? Let me Gary, says Ash. Gary was showing me around like we were supposed to do. We were going to eat when I felt something in the forest. The aura of an injured Pokemon was crying for help. I warned Gary and we start running to it. We found a little Charmander in a very bad shape. So we took him and bring him here. Just before we left to come here I saw a destroyed Pokeball and a set of human prints near it. Unfortunately, the rain must have erased all of that by now. While he was talking, Ash was using hot towels to dry Pikachu and Lucario's fur. They were also waiting for Nurse Joy with news on Charmander. A Chansey brought them hot chocolate to further dry them. Finally, Nurse Joy exited the emergency room with a relief sigh. She spotted the headmaster and the two boys who brought Charmander to her. Just in time it seems. The storm outside was horrendous. The poor thing wouldn't have survived the night. She approached the visitors and asked for some explanation about the situation. The professor then explained that Ash and Gary were walking in the wood and found the poor Pokemon in a very bad shape. They took him and brought him there immediately. They were not responsible if Charmander's professor never mentioned Ash's aura powers to her. After all, the boy was there to hide. How is Charmander, Nurse Joy? Asked Gary. He will make it. You both save his life. It is a good thing that you found him. He wouldn't have survived otherwise. Says the young nurse. How could someone just act like that? It's insane. Explode Ash with tearing eyes. A worthy trainer wouldn't act like that. He or she would care and love his or her Pokemon. They're not tools. They are family and friends. Gary sit besides Ash and give him an one-arm hug. He then tell him that the majority of the league's trainers thought like him but, unfortunately, some are just jerks that only saw the power a Pokemon will give and they would want that power now without taking the time and efforts to train the Pokemon. And that whatever power the Pokemon have, it is never enough for them. Can I stay here with Charmander, sir? Ash asked Professor Oak. Of course, my boy. Do you plan to adopt him? I will let Charmander decide if he want to come with me or not. It will be his decision. If he want to come with me, he will be treated with love and care and welcome in the family. But, it will be his decision. Speaking like a true Pokemon trainer. Alright Ash, you can stay as long as you don't bother Nurse Joy in her work. I won't be a burden I promise, says Ash turning his gaze to the nurse. I see no problem with that, says Nurse Joy. He could even help me with Charmander. An abused Pokemon have trust issue after that trauma. But, it would trust its savior. Or the one it consider its savior. Ash nodded and followed the lady after saying goodbye to Gary and the professor who will return to the academy. On their way, Professor Oak said that he was surprised that Gary did not claim the Charmander for himself. Gary's answer surprised him more. I have plenty of Pokemon, Gramps, but Ash have only 3. While speaking with him, he mentioned the mission Arceus give him. Once Charmander is trained, he will be a powerful Charizard. Ash will need his help. That is why I did not claim him. Ash need him more. And I want to help Ash with his mission. He may be a powerful Aura Guardian, but everyone need backup sometime. I'm proud of you, Gary. And I am sure that your parents are too. Ash will need many friends along the way. Pokemon friends, yes, but human friends too. Gary smiled to his grandfather. He lost his parents when he and his sister Daisy were really young. They were killed in an attack by Team Rocket. Since he learned the truth about it, Gary hated that criminal organization more than anything else. If Ash must destroy them, Gary will help him with everything he have. Once in the boys' dorms, he said goodbye to his grandfather and returned to his room. He still have some studying to do and the storm outside was too strong to do anything else. Samuel Oak returned to his office. He was so proud of his grandson and of Ash too. The young guardian was showing a set of morals befitting a champion. Arceus really chose his champion well. He really hoped that Charmander will accept Ash's proposition. He will find a very kind trainer in this boy. He then resumed his work. He was finishing some documents when he received an email from Champion Lance himself. A check of 1 million poke dollars will be sent to the well-being of Ash. The old man was flabbergasted by the amount. It seemed the league really want to make sure that Ash will be safe and well treated here. Lance also said that the champion and the Elite Four will send some Pokemon eggs coming from their own Pokemon for Ash. Even Sinnoh's champion, Cynthia, will send one. It seems Ash family will grow faster than anticipated.